さて。
And okay, so I guess we'll start with what I mean by laugh and cry. Laugh basically means Beerus is going to win, and it is so heavily in his favor that he can just set up his orbs and laughs. Cries means basically if Beerus tries to do anything, he's going to get hit, and it's going to be a really bad time. There's only one, as far as at least off the top of my head right now, there's only one character that's going to happen where it's going to straight up just be cries, and that of course is Lab Code 21. Lab Code 21, basically everything she does beats Beerus, from her normals to her key blasts to her beams to her spins. Literally everything she does basically shuts down Beerus, and this matchup is miserable. There's one person I know who swore to me that the Beerus Lab Code matchup was even, and to this day, I still don't believe him. Lab Code has received nerfs, Beerus has received buffs, and I still do not believe for a second that this is an even matchup. And I guess as well, I'll say this first and foremost. I play a lot of Beerus, so I know quite a bit about a lot of the matchups. But I'm just me, this is just how the matchups work. I think if you play Beerus, or you know about Beerus, you might have different opinions, and that's fine. And since it's probably going up on YouTube, let me know down in the comments below what you think about the matchups, my tier list, and what you think you would change. But moving on from that, I think she's the only one going in cries, so now we're going to go up to laugh. Who does Beerus laugh at? Beerus laughs at the people who have basically no form of interaction with him after his orb gets set up. So we're talking about characters like Bardock, whose one key blast will not do anything. His lariat will not do anything. You set up an orb and he can't do anything. And the other character going in laugh, where are you? Piccolo! Same thing. Has, like, he's got his antenna beam thing, whatever. That's probably the only thing that Piccolo really has, outside of, like, his EX chop or something, but he really does not have anything for Beerus orbs, so it's just a really good time. Alright, question is, do we want to... We'll probably should just start from the beginning, I think, huh? Let's just start from the beginning. So, 16... Slightly win for Beerus. Why only slightly win? So before the last patch, 16 100% would have been in the wins category for Beerus. But for now, I think 16 is a slight win. It's close to win. It's closest to win against them. But because of the fact that 16's grab that goes through his orbs is now full screen. Last patch, it wasn't full screen. It was only like 67% of the screen. So because of that, Beerus is able to get set up and be good to go. Now, because it's full screen, he now actually has to worry and be careful about... Maybe he is still win, actually. I might change that, but actually we'll go to win still. Even after the change, just because it's still heavily Beerus favored. 16 has to go for the grab that goes through things in order to be able to get past the orbs, and he can be punished for doing it, so definitely Beerus favored. 17, also Beerus favored. Slightly less though, because unlike some of his other characters, he's at least got a lot of key blasts. But even besides that though, Beerus has 2M to go through them, and Beerus has super dash to go through those. So even though he's got multiple key blasts, and you'll see this a lot of characters with multiple key blasts will go into the slightly win category, because even though multiple key blasts will go through the orbs, Beerus' 2M going through key blasts basically negated what used to make things a lot more of an even fight compared to now, where he just goes through everything. 18 I think is even. Why do I think it's even? Because 18 doesn't really have anything to deal with orbs, and Beerus doesn't have anything to deal with the barrier. 18 can do barrier nonstop, Beerus can do orbs nonstop, and neither of them can do anything about it. It's annoying, it's frustrating. Basically, both of them, whoever makes the first mistake will win this matchup. Yeah, that's basically it. 21. I'm torn between slightly lose and even. Because 21 does have a lot more options to deal with Beerus, be it 2S or 5S or orbs, as well as having very long normals. But the issue is, of course, the Beerus 2M. Question is the 2M enough to negate the fact that she basically has a way to negate all orbs? I think I'll leave it as slightly lose for now, and again we might change that later. Super Broly slide win. Super Broly has beams, has Ki Blast, but he's slow. He has to rush in, and a lot of his moves that deal with the orbs are very punishable. So Beerus just sets up orbs, waits Super Broly to do anything, and then punishes them for doing so. Z Broly, I still put it as a slightly lose, even though it's a lot more even now than it's ever been. Rewind before Beerus got his 2M buff, and before Z Broly got his nerfs, then he'd be down here in the cry section. But because Z Broly Ki Blast is now a bit worse, and Beerus can now reflect 2M, it's now still slightly lose because Z Broly still has armor everything to go through whatever Beerus throws at him. One Ki Blast still goes through every single orb. So it is still in Broly favored, but this is the closest Beerus has ever come to actually having an even matchup against Z Broly. And that's a great thing. Ginyu, slightly lose. Slightly lose because Ginyu Force calls ignore orbs. Why do they ignore orbs? It's so annoying. Beerus is basically forced to go in on Ginyu because Ginyu can set up almost freely against the orbs. It is very, very, very annoying. Cell win. Even though Cell is a perfect attack, now it can just go through orbs and everything, but it does that to everybody. Besides that, though, once Beerus has orb set up, the only option Cell has is a very slow, well, it's not really slow, but a very not good beam that he has to go into the air for. That's basically the only option against the orbs. Beerus can just straight up out neutral him and then punish him for even attempting to try and do anything to beat the orbs. Cooler. Weird. I don't really know what to put Cooler, actually. I don't really fight that many. Orbs don't really work against Cooler. But then Beerus can punish Cooler for trying to just 3H. We're in a weird situation. Cooler? Yeah, I'm thinking about putting him even. Just because they both have a counter to what the other does. Cooler just using his buttons to go through the orbs, and Beerus just doing like a 2M to just beat him before the punch comes out. Frieza. Do I want to put Frieza in lose? It's either lose or slightly lose, because it's definitely Frieza favored. I think I want to put it lose. Because most abilities that Frieza has will either A, beat the 2M. Actually, yeah, will A, beat the 2M, and B, basically everything Frieza does blows up the orbs. Yeah, I think Frieza is just straight up lose. Blue Gogeta. Again, another weird one. Do I just think of him by himself, or do I think of him along with everything? Or do I think of him along with with an assist. With an assist, it's clearly in his favor. By himself, actually, I think I kind of have to think this somewhat by himself, or like if we both have an assist. In which case, yeah, I think I'm gonna put a slight advantage to Beerus because Blue Gogeta's only option basically to deal with orbs is his beam, which even though it has been buffed, it is still decently punishable by a super dash. So I think it should be Beerus favored. Adult Gohan. It's either win or slide win. I think I'm gonna go slide win. Slide win. It's either win or slide win for the matchup against Adult Gohan, just because of the fact that Adult Gohan is his only ways of dealing with orbs once the orbs are out. Basically, is his 2S, his Air Ki Blast, or his beam. Adult Gohan, no, it's not. No, Adult Gohan versus Beerus is not laugh. If anything, like I said, it's probably win. It's either win or slide win. The only reason why I'm tempted to put in slide win is because of how fast his Ki Blast is. It's almost impossible to get orbs set up properly, and the angle somehow always gets around the orbs. So I kind of want to put him in wins, but it could be either or wins or slightly win. Because once orbs are set up, it is so beyond heavily favored for Beerus. It's just against Adult Gohan, and with how fast his Ki Blast is, it is somewhat difficult to get them set up. Teen Gohan wins. Unlike actually, do we? Actually, no. I'm gonna put him up in wins as well. Who last? Beerus are the characters in the tier. Yeah, maybe I should change how the tiers look and. Yeah, I might have miswritten how to do this. Beerus laughs against them, wins against them, slightly wins, even against them, slightly loses against them, and cries against her. That's basically how I put it. So Beerus laughs when he fights them. Okay, just making sure, because you think it looks good. Okay, just making sure, because I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it could be seen the other way. But maybe I should move 17 up to here if I'm putting Teen Gohan here for the same. Basically putting them there for the exact same reason. Both of them have a bunch of Ki Blasts that they can throw out, and Beerus can just reflect 2M and go through them. And then once the orbs get set up, they have zero other options. Unlike Super Broly or Gogeta, who at least have some kind of beam to go through them, maybe try to lock you down. These guys have only Ki Blasts. And that's not good. That is very much not good. Goku Black, slightly lose. Funnily enough, Goku Black, a decent matchup into Beerus because 5S goes through every orb and it is frustrating. I know he can 2M, but you have to 2M after the 5S starts up, and then you have, in order to be able to go through it without getting hit by either the slash part or the projectile. So the timing on it is a pain in the ass. Can 17 barrier your 2M on reaction? Well, doesn't 17 have to go into Rekka, cancel into barrier, or do that, or can he just go straight into barrier? I don't really know how 17 works very well. I don't think if you're firing Ki Blast, if you do reflect 2M, he could then cancel into Rekka and then cancel into EX. I'd have to test that, but I don't think he can. And even if he could, doing that on reaction, I'd be very impressed. I get what you mean. Again, if you technically could do that, it's, I guess, possible. I wish you luck reacting to that though, even full screen. I don't know. GT Goku. Can I just put him in Cry? Can I just put him in Cry, not because of the matchup against Beerus, but just because I hate fighting him? I literally just want to put him in Cry here because because I set up orbs, he does reverse Kame, and my orbs do nothing. So I kind of want to put him in Cry for that reason and that reason only. Besides that though, the matchup is fairly even to slight advantage to GT Goku. Because when you're charging the beam, you can ignore his orbs, as well as the angle of the beam and the speed of the beam make it where it's very easy to destroy all the orbs, as well as of course reverse Kame. But Beerus technically can jump over the super dash, or jump over the beam and super dash, but that is his only option compared to the many options that GT has. Oh yeah, and his 5S also beats all the orbs. Maybe we should put him in loses. GT Goku is either in slightly loses or fully loses. Or Beerus either slightly loses or fully loses against GT, because GT actually has a lot of options against Beerus. I actually didn't even think about all of them until now. The only thing Beerus really has against GT is the fact that, funny enough, he actually has longer normals. One of the few times that's actually a thing in this game. But he actually has a lot of things into that matchup. Yeah, it does. His 5S ignores Ki Blasts. I want to put him in loses actually. He has too many options to ignore or just straight up beat the orbs. Yeah, I think I want to put him in loses. Blue Goku, even, because this matchup is hectic as frick. Basically, what's going to happen first? Beerus orbs getting set up and he gets his game going, or Blue Goku gets in with the shoulder tackle, because he can punish you or go through all the orbs or ignore the orbs with the shoulder tackle. It's either even or slightly win to Beerus. But Blue Goku versus Beerus is a beyond hectic matchup, being the fact that Blue Goku's main form of get in completely ignores all orbs. So I'm gonna say even. It's either even to slightly in Beerus' favor, it's a 55-45 situation for that, or 50-50. But I'm gonna leave it in even because I think it's closer to that. Because basically, whatever happens first, basically is going to win. Does Beerus get orb set up first, or does Blue Goku get in first? Specifically with the shoulder, or can they do the shoulder tackle or react to shoulder tackle when Beerus starts setting up his orbs and get punished for it? And so it's either even to slightly win, just due to the fact that his get in tool just completely shuts it down. Super Saiyan Goku. I want to put him in slightly lose, because his Ki Blast and his basically the same thing as Blue Goku, but the opposite now. Is it slightly lose or is it even? Super Saiyan Goku basically has everything needed to deal with orbs. Be it a beam that he can aim. Actually, I think I'll leave him slightly loose. Beam he could aim, Ki Blast he can aim if he tries to set up orbs in the air. Multiple Ki Blasts on the ground. Yeah, I think I'll leave him in slightly loose. UI Goku wins, and this makes me so happy. You guys have no idea, freaking. When back in season 3 days, when UI Goku was like terrorizing everyone, when I was playing Beerus and I found out how the matchup works, oh, I was so happy. The matchup is so good for Beerus. Like, even in the days where UI Goku was destroying everyone, pissing everyone off, all this shit, Beerus just sets up orbs and he just laughs in the face of UI Goku. Beerus won this matchup when UI was top 1, and Beerus wins this matchup now when UI is arguably bottom 5. Base Goku. I don't really know much about Base Goku, but similar thing to Super Saiyan Goku, just not to the same degree. I want to say even, because Base Goku does have the angled beam and multi-ki blast that Super Saiyan Goku has. There's not as much ability to deal with orb setups in the air, as well as he's not quite as safe, I think, as Super Saiyan Goku is on his specials that deal with them. Gotenks though, lose. Gotenks has multiple ki blasts, has a beam, and has a spin that goes through literally everything. And that is also true, Garlic. The amount of jabs or 2Ms or 5Hs or whatever I did to people after Gropus got walked against by Shanks in that regional Spain final match. Everyone started doing it whenever Beerus got knocked down, so I would just wake up and mash every time, just so I could punish them for just them trying to do the walk. But yeah, Gotenks doesn't really need much explanation. Spin, fast, control, goes through orbs, cry. Hit. Slide win. Slide win, because even though Hit does have the option of the stance slash or the EX kick, those are technically his only ways of dealing with it. Base Goku even. Yeah, I put Base Goku even just because I mainly think that the multi ki blast and the beam makes it where he at least has options against the orbs. But unlike Super Saiyan Goku, who has like the down S to help as well with the orbs that come out in the air, as well as of course the anti-air Tatsu. Base Goku is also I think a little more negative on both his ki blasts and on, or at least for sure on his 2S, because his 2S is definitely not negative, and I think on his beam. Actually, that might not be true. So I think Base Goku is here. Just I think Super Saiyan Goku has a few more options than Base Goku does, and Beerus has a way around Base Goku a little more than Super Saiyan Goku. But he also could be here. Either way, Beerus doesn't have the best time against the Gokus. Let me just put it that way. Against the Gokus, it's very hard for Beerus to get set up. So basically he's either here or here, and Blue Goku's either here or here because he doesn't have a beam. Fair enough. Janemba, slightly loose. So Janemba is probably slightly loose now. He was here. Now he's probably here just because Beerus 2M can now ignore counter. So if Beerus does his orbs and Janemba counters it, he can just 2M, ignore it, and get back in and go and continue pressure from there. But the reason why he's still slightly loose is because he does still get out neutraled by Janemba because of his tracking ki blast. And also, primarily because his EX slash just straight up ignores them. Goes through them. Not a good time. Beerus now has a way to deal with the counter besides just 5Hing, which when you're full screen isn't really all that useful. But he's still slightly loose because that EX slash still exists. Jiren, shoot me. Shoot me in this matchup. It's not lab code levels of crying, but it is bad. Freaking Jiren's 5S just straight up, just like Ichigoku, just straight up shutting down all orbs while ignoring all orbs, on top of having better neutral or strong neutral, as well as having his 214S. Like, I can at least 2M to get around Janemba counter. I can't 2M to get around a Jiren grab. And then more losing matchups. Kefla, multiple ki blast, fast as hell beam that she can throw both straight across the ground and in the air, and a lariat, much like Blue Goku's, that will just go through all the orbs and ignore them. Yeah, not great times. Not great times. Kid Buu, win. Has a beam. That's it. Got a beam. He's got a couple of Ki Blasts at least, so that puts him ahead of characters like Cell, or the fact that his beam in the actually I do want to put go on here, and his beam in the air. Actually, yeah, his beam in the air helps him as well, but and he's got a couple of Ki Blasts, which is okay, but once Beerus gets set up, he can just jump around the beam and just punish him for even trying to do that, and that's pretty much it. God, I'm still torn on the freaking Gohan. But definitely Beerus favored, even though he's got an air beam. He can just be punished for it. Krillin. Hey, Garlic. What? I need your expert opinion on Krillin. What do you think his matchup is versus Beerus? Even or slightly lose? Because it's definitely not Beerus' favorite. I can tell you that much. It's either even or slightly Krillin advantaged. Rapid fire Ki Blast, EX after image being invul. These basically one of the fastest, safest, and best beams in the game. It's either even or slight lose. Slightly wins. You think beer? Okay, there you go. I was gonna say you. God damn it, girl. You don't know either. Yeah, I don't think that Krillin loses the matchup to Beerus. I think it's either even or Beerus slightly loses. I think it's one of these two. I don't think Beerus straight up wins the matchup, but it is close. So I think I want to go even, but I'm honestly not sure. I think Krillin's beam and how fast his Ki Blasts are combined, I think should give him the edge. On top of his EX after image technically going through everything. JS is very strong. Yeah, I think we'll do slightly lose. Majin, I don't even know what the hell to say about Majin Buu. Makes hard to set orbs, true. And your beam just goes through it, and it can't be punished. Krillin is too safe, man. I honestly don't even know what to say about Buu. I haven't fought. God, I fought like one Buu in years. Like literally one Majin Buu. I want to say slide win. This one's hard. This one's hard to say. He does have multiple Ki Blasts, and he does have a beam. So I guess I want to put him there. It's definitely Beerus favored. God, I don't even want to know. Boo's just a weird option. I think I'll leave him with slightly wins. Yeah, if we're talking about the movies, we're going to be moving all of these characters up here to the laugh category pretty much, except for like Blue Gogeta, Super Broly, those kind of characters. Like everyone else is just going to get shot up to the laugh category. Roshi, slight win. Slight win, but I'll put him. But if I added an extra category that just says annoying, that would be him. It is 100% Beerus favored, but the matchup is just incredibly annoying because locking Roshi down with his Master's Leap is frustrating as hell. So it's not like Beerus loses the matchup, it's just an annoying matchup for him to deal with because Roshi just keeps going through stuff. Roshi doesn't really win the matchup because he goes through the stuff. He kind of just runs. So if I can just put a category like in the middle that just says annoying, I would probably put Roshi there. But I'm probably got way too many categories as is. Nappa, Beerus wins. The only reason Nappa is here and not in the laugh category is just because Cyberman is a thing. That is, the Cyberman is literally the only thing keeping Nappa from the laugh category. Because Cybermen don't care about orbs, but Nappa cares about orbs a lot. Orbs get set up, and nope, I wish Nappa luck. But the Cyberman is literally the only thing keeping Nappa from the laugh category. And baby, I don't think either of us has to think much about this one, huh, girl? Like Beerus just straight up does not like the baby matchup. It's like, basically it's like what Beerus does to these characters up here, where set up orbs and then make people say like, "Ha, super dash me," and hope I'm not paying attention to it. Baby can do that to Beerus. His 6S now being immune to Ki Blast, meaning his 6S now can ignore orbs. On top of his Ki Blast being stupid quick, on top of his 6H going through orbs. Yeah, this matchup just sucks so much. I kind of want to put it in Cries, actually. Actually, I'm going to put it in Cries with Labco. This matchup is awful. I don't know if it's lab coat levels of awful, but it honestly might be lab coat levels of awful. Tien. Tien's either slide win or win. The question is does the air beam work enough? Is the air beam enough to bring Tien to the slight win? Because his Ki Blast sure as hell doesn't. Everything else about him sure as hell doesn't. Does the air beam justify putting him in slide win? Well, I did that for Kid Buu, so I guess it is. If I did that for Kid Buu, even though Kid Buu's Ki Blasts are basically are slightly better, or at least are a little better. Does it even matter that much? Probably not. Well, actually no, in some cases, yes. So I mean, if you're playing Bardock or Piccolo, the last thing you want to see is a character like Beerus or Baby or something on the other side of the screen. But it is interesting to talk about. Trunks. Even, because Trunks has many options that go through orbs. Nothing that's really going to straight up beat Beerus, but especially since Beerus can just 2M past his 5S. But Trunks at least has many options to turn off the orbs. So I don't think Trunks necessarily wins the matchup, but he's one of the few characters when the orbs come on screen, he's not exactly terrified, which I think is enough to make him even. Blue Vegeta. Slight win. Because the only thing Blue Vegeta can do when orbs are set up is Big Bang Attack, and Beerus will jump or run under and punish him for it. Super Saiyan Vegeta. I want to put him here because fuck this matchup. Basically, all Beerus wants to do is be on the ground and set up orbs. All Super Saiyan Vegeta wants you to do is stay in the same place so he can throw Ki Blast at you. And then once he throws Ki Blast at you, you can't move. And in the case of Beerus, if he does that, or in the case of Beerus, Beerus is always staying in one spot to try and throw orbs or summon his orbs. So technically, giving Super Saiyan Vegeta exactly what he wants. And I want to say that's enough to give a slight advantage to Super Saiyan Vegeta, but it could be an even matchup based on which one happens first. Base Vegeta, on the other hand, though, that one's just a win. Actually, no, that one's just a win. Yeah, that one's just a win. Much like Adult Gohan, both of them could be down in the slide win category just based on sheer speed of Ki Blast. But when it comes to But when it comes to when the orbs are set up, though, they are almost as screwed as all these other characters. So even though I'm torn on putting both of them because they do have ground beams at least as options down here. Again, I might adjust those later, but these two are definitely could be in the slight wind category. But once orbs are set up, though, even though their key blasts are fast, they're pretty much going to get hit if they even try to throw a key blast. Vegito, I've played this matchup so many times, and this shit might be the definition of an even matchup when it comes to both players doing things. If Vegito has all the Banshee blasts in the world to stop Beerus from setting up orbs, but if orbs are set up, the orbs will stop the Banshee blast. So this is basically the purest definition, I think, of an even matchup for Beerus. Because more often than not, it almost never comes down to a 5M fight or something like that for Vegito, or 2M for Beerus or whatever, even though both of them could happen. More often than not is, can Beerus set up orbs or not? And Banshee Blast is the only thing stopping Beerus from doing so. So whichever one happens, that character will win. Videl. Orb setup, her only option is 6H. 6H? Yeah, 6H. The only option is 6H, and if that's your only option against orbs, good luck. Yamcha, same thing. Yamcha is a ground beam away from being up here. In fact, I kind of want to put him up here, but because he has a ground beam is the only reason I'm probably going to put him here. Zamasu, even. Actually, no. So it's slightly Beerus' favorite, actually. Oh, sorry, Atari. What makes it cry? Cry basically means Beerus. If Beerus is on the other side of the screen of these characters, you basically want it to be anything else. Like literally anything else. Like if I'm playing Beerus, I would rather see Frieza, GT, Gotenks, Jiren, Kefla. I'd rather see literally any of these characters. Even though they beat Beerus, I'd rather see any character in the game pretty much over these two, because the matchup is so painful because of the fact that Beerus is 2M, the 2M that goes to shit won't help. Beerus' dive, which is a main tool to get in, is not going to help. Beerus won't even be able to set up orbs because it will not help. Or it will not work because Lab Code has multiple key blasts, a beam, and spins that go through it. Baby's key blast as well as 6S and 6H all go through it. Beerus literally cannot do anything in this matchups except for basically jump in and hope and pray, knowing the fact that Beerus' normals are not the greatest, and in fact his normals are worse than both of theirs on top of that. The thing with Roshi is that yes, his jump will go through the orbs, but that doesn't really do much. So I'll say slightly win or even. I definitely don't think lose. I definitely do not think Roshi would just straight up beat him. Will I ever make a Zamasu matchup tier list? I mean, I could. Could do that right after this technically, since we're almost done. And then Gogeta. Oh yeah, oops. Ignore that because I can't put it back down here. Zamasu. Reason for Zamasu. Zamasu throws a beam to try and get rid of orbs and go in. Beerus 5H ignores orb and punishes him for going in. And then Gogeta, same thing. Beerus sets up orbs. Gogeta's only option is punch, and if you jump, he gets punished because he literally runs right into the orbs, and it's funny. It is very funny to watch. Not a macro matchup here, but let's see here. Wins, slightly lose, slightly win, slightly win, win, slightly win, win. And then the only one would just be loses, and that's Lab Code versus Lab Code. Yeah, Roshi could be here. And Adult Gohan and Base Vegeta both could be here in the slightly win category. But I definitely don't think Roshi is slightly lose. But yeah, that's my Beerus matchup tier list and the reasoning behind it. So the reason why Lab Coat is like no longer like an undisputed top 1. She's definitely still a top 10 character for sure. She's just not like an undisputed top 1. But the reason why she's still in Cries is because literally everything she does beats him. Like literally everything from her normals to her Ki Blast to her beam to her spin, everything she does just beats everything he does. And that's why she's still in the Cry section despite the nerfs and the buffs to Beerus over the last couple patches. No more invul to everything. Please no, they shouldn't even have done these ones. Maybe Blue Vegeta should be even now that I think about it, because it grabs invul and goes through orbs. No. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't know. What do you guys think? So I think this is my list. And you guys can see exactly how much I like fighting Garlic's team with Ginyu, Krillin, and Baby all being in the lose category, huh? This is more Cloud. Yeah, but I'm still curious. Yeah, but this is still just one person's opinion though. Take a picture of this for post on Twitter later to get laughed at. How does Ginyu beat Beerus? Because when Ginyu summons the Ginyu Force, he is immune to orbs. Basically, the only way to beat Ginyu is to not let him get started. And Ginyu's Ginyu Force call literally says orbs do not matter. On top of, you know, the whole basically all the Ginyu Force members basically all have their abilities to beat Beerus orbs. Raccoon Beam, Birder Short Tackle. Jace doesn't really have anything. Goldo's projectile technically isn't exactly an orb destroyer, but it is basically a GT beam. So any orb or Beerus blocks it. Anything when he jumps in the air, all the orbs go away. So yeah, basically everything Ginyu does with summoning the Ginyu Force members and then the Ginyu Force themselves, basically all beats Beerus orbs. And since basically forcing Beerus to play a go-in only game style in order to be able to fight against him. And if Beerus, and the main thing you'll notice against basically almost all the characters in the slightly lose and cry category is Beerus almost has to ignore. He's in the slightly lose category. He doesn't have to like fully ignore the orbs, but he can't rely on them as much. In the lose category, he almost can't rely on it. He almost can't use his orbs at all. And on the cries, he literally can't use his orbs at all. Basically, the further down you go, the more you see matchups where Beerus is basically going to be forced more to go in using his not as great normals. So like Beerus is top tier right now, not because his normals are super amazing or super incredible or blah blah blah. His 2M going through shit is really helpful. But besides that, most of his normals are kind of just okay to good basically. And the further down you go, the more he has to rely on those rather than the main point of his game, which is the orbs. So against 21, Z Broly, Ginyu, Goku Black, Super Saiyan Goku, Janemba, Krillin, Vegeta, he summons orbs. All the odds are the orbs are going to be gone before he even gets a chance to use them. loses. Basically, when he summons the orbs, there's a chance that even if he uses the orbs, they're going to be pointless, because all Frieza projectiles that beats them. GT Goku's 5S, beam, reverse Kame, all that shit, all beats them. Gotenks spin, beam, all beats them. Jiren's got a counter and a 5S that ignores them. Keva's got multiple ki blasts, a beam she can throw on the ground in the air, and a lariat that just all beats them. And then Lab Coat and Baby basically doesn't matter what, just by playing their game plan, Beerus won't even have a chance to get set up. At least with Frieza, it was not quite as bad because he's going to be sitting full screen as he does it, and basically almost nothing that happens from it. He'll at least go in and mix you from it, compared to someone like Baby, who he will throw out a full 6S, 6H or whatever, and then the orbs go away, and he's in. Which is just really bad. So that's basically what has led to most of the characters being put in the slightly lose the cry category, is primarily just about how much do the characters say you cannot use what makes you strong. And that's basically how I look at this list. So yeah, that's my explanation behind a lot of it. There are some of course that are a bit different than that, but for the most part, the characters in the lose categories end up going to the ones that most turn off the Beerus orbs. Kind of also helps that I play a very orb heavy playstyle, so like a lot, I'm sure if you ask a lot of other Beerus players, there are going to be a lot of things that would change on this list because of most other ones don't use the orbs nearly as much as I do. So like characters like maybe GT Goku or someone that won't be nearly this far down because they're going in more so than using orbs. So GT Goku's ability to ignore the orbs with his moves aren't going to be as big a deal for them. Or maybe you'll see characters like Red Gogeta be further down to the even to lose category for them because they're trying to go in, but Gogeta's normals and ki blasts is just going to outright beat them for them trying to go in. So there are going to be variations because these in the end I can say this, I can say that, I've done this, I've done that, blah blah blah. But we all have our own opinions on what we think matchups are, who are good matchups, who are worse matchups. So and these are just mine, So hope you guys enjoyed the making of the list.